Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more Kuna transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So lots to negotiate on this current video today as always, but the first topic of development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Harry Maguire. Now I have been updating you about Harry Maguire on a regular basis. I do believe now that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified Harry Maguire is his number one defensive target and all that. But like I said, there has been quite a lot of central defenders on our current agenda, because I do believe we need at least one central defender, to come in. But I think, like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified Harry Maguire as his number one defensive target. I think Mike Phelan has instructed Manchester United, to complete a move for Harry Maguire, because obviously, Mike Phelan has managed Harry Maguire, during his short time with Hull and all that. So Harry Maguire has played under Mike Phelan's guidance. I was reading a lot of reports out yesterday, and he did reportedly say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer asked our British players in our squad about their thoughts about Harry Maguire, and obviously, they give really good remarks. I think Manchester United are doing everything now they can, to get a deal concluded for Harry Maguire. But we do know it's been Manchester United and Manchester City, battling out for his services. Obviously, reports reflected out from Sky Sports earlier on this week, saying that Manchester United, of course, had put a £70 million bid in for Harry Maguire. Obviously, this is too insufficient for Leicester, because Leicester are looking for somewhere in the region of around 80 or 90 million pounds and all that. Sky Sports also mentioned that talks between both Manchester clubs and Leicester have been going on for several weeks, but no deal or no fee yet has come to an agreement. But like I said, he's been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, the other week it was looking like City, were the favourites, to get a deal over the line for Harry Maguire. He did say City were set to sign him for the world record fee, for the record fee for £80 million, which would obviously make Harry Maguire the most expensive defender in world football, ahead of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who of course Liverpool paid £75 million for, and it also said City were willing to pay him around 280 grand a week. But there has been a change we've seen him since then, because I think negotiations have hit a stumbling block, between Manchester City and Leicester, based on the huge fee that Leicester have put on him, because City are not willing to meet, what Leicester are demanding. And this is why, we are considered now the favourites, to currently sign Harry Maguire, even though it did say Harry Maguire's got no intention of coming to Manchester United. It did say Harry Maguire's preference is actually a move to Manchester City, because I think Harry Maguire is actually keen on playing under Pep Guardiola's guidance and all that, because probably Harry Maguire believes he'll flourish under Pep Guardiola's guidance. But reports reflected out towards the back end of last week, saying that we'd allegedly ended our interest in Harry Maguire. Obviously, I did give you my update on that, because obviously, it did say towards the back end of last week that reportedly, Leicester wanted around £100 million. So he did say they wanted around 90 million up front, with 10 million in add-ons. So it allegedly said towards the back end of last week that we'd ended our interest in the player. But looking at ultimately, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire, and this is the main factor reason, why they've priced him out of the transfer market. This is why, of course, they are demanding an extortionate amount, because Leicester don't want to offload him, because Leicester do know how much of an essential player he is. But I think from Harry Maguire's perspective, he does want to leave Leicester, and I think he has notified Leicester about this. But like I said, it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City, of course, that have been battling out for his services and all that. But we have had a £70 million bid turned down for him. But, Harry Maguire, has been relentlessly, linked with move to Manchester United, since last summer and all that. And, that's when the rumours started about Harry Maguire to Manchester United, because obviously, reflecting back last summer, obviously our priority, was to recommend a central defender to come in. But obviously, we didn't get as number one targets last summer, because the board weren't backing, the signings that Jose Mourinho, wanted to recommend to come in. And obviously, one of the players Jose Mourinho wanted last summer was Harry Maguire. But I don't think we got Harry Maguire last summer, because again, Leicester were demanding around £70 million, and of course, Manchester United are reluctant, to pay that. And we've got issues defensively, and there's still lots to address in the squad, and last season, we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games, and that's our highest total in 4 years. So that just indicates out, the problems we have got defensively. But we need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. A vast majority of Manchester United fans have probably said, we need two central defenders. But Harry Maguire's a really good player, and I do believe he would be the right solution for Manchester United. He's in his prime, he's 26, he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. And his attributes are really good. He's very good in the air. He holds his line really well. He shows that ability, to play out from the back. His pass rate's very good. Very good player, is Harry Maguire and all that. And I think he's indicated that he does want to come, to one of the top six clubs, to take his footballing career to the next level and rejuvenate his career and all that. So I think he does, want to leave Leicester. Obviously, he served 2 years with Leicester, as Harry Maguire. I think he's made 76 appearances for Leicester in all competitions. Obviously, 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Harry Maguire did sign a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with them until 2023 and all that. Like I said, he's a former Hull City player where he did play under Phelan's guidance for a little bit because, like I said, Phelan only had a short spell with Hull City. He also had a long spell with Wigan, and he actually began his career with Sheffield United as a youngster, the Harry Maguire. But like I said, a very good player, and I hope Manchester United, somewhere online, can get a deal concluded for him. And plus, he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer and all that. But yeah, there's been a lot of talks going on about Harry Maguire and all that. But like I said, very good player. I think he would complement Victor Lindelof in our backline. I think he shows good leadership as well. There's Harry Maguire, so definitely I think he would elevate Manchester United forward and all that. And it did basically say, as he updated you the other day, it did say Arsenal had inquired about Harry Maguire's services, and it did reportedly say that Arsenal, tried to hijack our move for Harry Maguire, and it did say, they offered around £58 million, but obviously, this is too insufficient for Leicester. That's around 35 million pound less than what currently Leicester are demanding, because obviously Arsenal need to sell players themselves this summer, to help them generate funds and rebuild their squad, because they've got a tight budget. They've only got around 40 or 45 million pounds to spend. Arsenal have got issues defensively, so I think they're in search for a central defender. But like I said, it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling it out for Harry Maguire's services. Obviously Manchester United can't offer him Champions League football. Manchester City, of course, can't offer him Arsenal can't offer him Champions League football, but Manchester City, of course, can offer him Champions League football. But I think we are confident now we can outbid Manchester City for his services. So I do believe if we're willing to pay what Leicester are demanding, we can get a deal over the line for him. But Solskjaer did ask the British players in our squad yesterday about their thoughts about Maguire before we do step up our interest in him. And we've reportedly, Solskjaer's been given, positive remarks and all that. So I think now we've identified Harry Maguire as our number one target and all that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. He wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talents and all that. And I think we are moving away from the policy of signing them well established players. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes he's following a policy that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. But Solskjaer did say he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. So far this summer, we have got 2 players on the board. Obviously, they are our 2 first signings under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Obviously, we've got Daniel James for 18 million. And Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth around £58 million. So if you do want to count the add-ons and that, it's taken Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend up to around £68 million so far this summer. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to want to build on this, and he's going to want to bring at least 3 more new additions to the squad. Now, I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities, will be to bring a central defender in, and of course, he'll also want to add reinforcements in that midfield and all that. So, like I said, still lots to address in his squad. I think for the entirety of this window so far, we've been mainly focusing on the incomings, but I think we've got to concentrate on selling players and all that. We've got to concentrate more on selling players, because we do need to sell players to help us generate funds and rebuild the squad, because I think allegedly we've only been given around £100 million to spend, and obviously £100 million isn't a lot of money in this market, this day and age and all that. When you do you need to revitalise your squad, and like I said, £100 million isn't enough for us to address the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously isn't enough for us to get the number of players that we do want, and it did provide a reason a couple of weeks ago why it said we'd only been given £100 million, because obviously now we're not in Champions League football for next season and all that. And I think it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level, because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season, and obviously Champions League football is always very pivotal when you do want to get your number 1 targets and all that. But like I did currently say, Harry Maguire will be a fantastic signing for Manchester United. Obviously, he's been on City's agenda for quite some time because obviously, City has seen him as a replacement for Vincent Kompany. I think also City are considering, offloading, Otamendi and all that. So if Harry Maguire does go to City, he will be playing alongside John Stones and Laporte and all that. But yeah, it is Man United and Manchester City, like I said, of course, that are battling out for his services. I do believe our expectations going on to this season, probably, we'll be able to finish in the top four, maybe win the Europa League or maybe win the Carabao Cup, because I want us to win in some silverware, next season, because we haven't won any silverware in the past couple of years. But I do believe anyway our aspirations, we'll be out top in that top four in the next couple of seasons, because at the moment City's strides ahead of us, obviously Liverpool and that strides ahead of us, so it's very imperative that we catch up with like Manchester City and Liverpool, very very essential indeed. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding. Don't forget, analysing it. The majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's only two players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that is obviously bought, and that's Daniel James from Swansea and Alman Bissaka, of course, from Crystal Palace. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to build a squad. Where with the club's history, obviously wants to get us back. To being a competitive elite level football club, and I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take us forward, and I hope he's got the stature, to get us in that commanding position, where we do currently want to be, because he was a great player for Manchester United, for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and all that, and I do believe he is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. He's got a bit of experience as a manager, not really to the highest level, but he has got a bit of experience as a manager, so I would give him a year, or at least a year, maybe in even a couple of years, to see, how it currently works out and all that. But like I said, it's very essential that we do get the right players to Manchester United this summer, because that was spent in January. We didn't get as number one targets last summer and all that. So like I did say, still lots to address in the squad, but I think we do need to sell players this summer, because I think us selling players, it's going to help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition and all that. But yeah, so like I did say to you guys on Monday, I expect Manchester United I did say I expected Manchester United to get two signings completed this week. Obviously we do know that that's probably not going to happen, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say from his own perspective, he wants one signing confirmed before we do go on pre-season tour in Australia. Maybe that won't happen now, but this was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans. So obviously, as I've been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Bruno Fernandes and all that. So there's a bit more additional information, and that's updated about Bruno Fernandes. I updated you about yesterday, or was it the day before? I still say we are considered the favourites, to sign Bruno Fernandes. Recent reports reflected out, was it earlier on this week, saying that it did allegedly say that Manchester United now were only in the running to sign Bruno Fernandes, but now reportedly Liverpool are still in the race for Bruno Fernandes. I do believe that Tottenham are also still in there for Bruno Fernandes, even though reports did say that Liverpool and Tottenham, of course, had withdrawn their interest. Reflecting back around, was it 6 or 7 weeks ago, it was looking likely Manchester City were going to get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes, but obviously as it confirmed, City had withdrawn their interest and all that. So reportedly Bruno Fernandes' agent, it did say allegedly on Wednesday, had flown to England, to thrash out a deal, with Manchester United for his client and all that. So I think he's actually now in the UK, he's Bruno Fernandes' agent, if I'm right, to hold negotiations, with the likes of Liverpool, Tottenham and Manchester United and all that. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal for his current client and all that. I think reportedly it did say Manchester United have offered him around 5.3 million a year and all that, but no fee has yet come to an agreement. So no fee yet has come to an agreement, but I think Manchester United have reportedly agreed personal terms with Bruno Fernandes. I think also we've reached an agreement with Sporting Lisbon. I think his wages and that have been sorted out, but no fee has yet come to an agreement. Sporting Lisbon has blatantly made it clear, they're wanting the region around 55 million pounds. Of course, Manchester United are hopeful, we can get him for around 31 million pounds. But obviously, this is too insufficient for Sporting Lisbon. Sky Sports did report out earlier on this week saying that Manchester United were still chasing Bruno Fernandes, because obviously he's one of our main priority targets, and he has been on our agenda for quite some time as Bruno Fernandes, and it's very very imperative that we do get him a deal over the line for him and all that. But I think now anyway, his agent, I can't remember his agent's name, but he reportedly he is in London, to look for the best possible deal, for his client, and I think he's allegedly in the UK to thrash out a deal, with Manchester United, for his client and all that. So Manchester, the talks have been ongoing, between Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes' representatives for several weeks now and all that. But obviously, the only thing now we've got to do is come to an agreement on a fee. I don't think Bruno Fernandes. I don't think he'll probably be. I don't think he'll be officially announced this week. I think maybe next week. I think it will be made official. But the stumbling block at the moment, is the actual fee and all that. But I don't think Bruno Fernandes has received like any kind of offers yet. Sporting Lisbon have confirmed, but I think we should just pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanded. At the end of the day, I think Bruno Fernandes is worth that money. He's a very, very good player. He's only had 24 years of age, and him coming to Manchester United, he rejuvenate the team. He'll win us them goals that we need in that midfield. I think he'd be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because we do know that Paul Pogba, of course, is leaving Manchester United. I think even if Paul Pogba was to stay at the football club, I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's obviously orchestrating on bringing two new additions in that midfield. So I did initially say Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United is obviously not dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba and all that. But I think we should just make what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. Look what we did last summer. We paid £50 million for Fred, and obviously Fred is one of our most expensive signings. We paid £50 million to him, and you can't put Fred in Bruno Fernandes' calibre or level. And Fred hasn't got a good pedigree and not a fantastic one. He was a fundamental player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but Fred hasn't really replicated this since he came to Manchester United. Fred did well towards the back end of last season. He put some good performances in, but I still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Manchester United and all that. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes would be a fantastic sign, like I currently said. And reports came out last week, saying that we've been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. It also said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had instructed Ed Woodward, to speed up a deal to sign Bruno Fernandes, but no fee has yet come to an agreement. He served a couple of years with Sporting Lisbon as Bruno Fernandes. Scored 31 goals in all competitions last season. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet. So he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of years. Obviously, when he was younger, he spent the majority of his career in Italy, the likes of Sampdoria and Udinese and all that. I think he also played for Novria. Bruno Fernandes still got 4 years left on his contract with Sporting Lisbon, so he's still under contract with them until 2023. So it's very imminent he's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. But I still say we are the favourites, to get other players' signature. But I think we've been considered the favourites according to Ebola and the Portuguese press, at least for the last 2 to 3 weeks. We have currently been the favourites and all that. But allegedly said early on, I think this week, that we're the only team in the running because Liverpool and Tottenham have withdrawn their interest. I think now reportedly Bruno Fernandes' agent is set to meet up with Liverpool again to hold negotiations with Liverpool, because it came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Liverpool had reportedly tabled around the €45 million bid. Obviously that equates to around 40 million in pound sterling. I think obviously Liverpool have had negotiations already with Bruno Fernandes' agent. Obviously came out a couple of weeks ago, was it, that Tottenham had stepped up their interest, and also Tottenham have had talks with his agent. So I think the likes of Tottenham, Manchester United and all that are set to hold more extensive talks with Bruno Fernandes' agent. So I think very, very imperative that we do get this deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. Very, very good player. I think him coming to the Premier League, it will rejuvenate his career. It'll take his footballing career to the next level. So I do believe, looking at ultimately probably Bruno Fernandes is going to be our next signing. But obviously we do need a replacement for Paul Pogba anywhere, because I do know that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving the football club. I read him one report, and he said he's set to announce his move to Real Madrid next week. Obviously we do know Paul Pogba's been relentlessly linked to move away from Manchester United and all that. Obviously I think it did say Paul Pogba was set to put a transfer request in. Obviously reports suggested out last month saying that Paul Pogba is seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted that he wants to leave Manchester United for the first time, and he even did say at one point he was even willing to go on strike to force a move away from Manchester United and all that. But I think it's been initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan to actually build a side around Paul Pogba, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's done everything he can to try and convince him to remain at the football club. It did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was set to hold talks with Paul Pogba in regards to his future. They may have already had negotiations and all that, but Paul Pogba's blatantly made it clear he does want to leave Manchester United. And we do know it is Real Madrid and Juventus that are battling now for his services. But I do believe Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid, and his first choice preference has been Real Madrid for quite some time, and I think his likely destination has been Real Madrid for quite some time. But obviously, we're demanding that one around £150 million. Obviously, this is a figure, of course, that Real Madrid are reluctant to meet and all that. And probably, even though Paul Pogba hasn't been the fundamental player since he returned to Manchester United, as we all thought he would have been, I'd still say in this day and age, in this market, I'd still say Paul Pogba is within the region of around 140 or 150 million pounds and all that. But obviously, it's one of Zinedine Zidane's main priority targets, and obviously Zinedine Zidane has instructed his Real Madrid board, to get a deal concluded for Paul Pogba and all that. I do believe Christian Eriksen has been on Real Madrid's agenda. Probably Christian Eriksen, would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba, but Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to the £150 million to him. Obviously, Real Madrid so far have got 5 players on the board this summer, and they've spent over £300 million I think. Obviously, they spent the vast majority of that money on Eden Hazard, of course, who they paid £150 million for. But like I did say, it is Real Madrid and Juventus that are battling out for his services. Obviously, we do know Juventus have set their interest up in the last couple of weeks. Like I did say with Juventus, they're doing good business in this window so far. Obviously, they've got Matty De Ligt on the board. They've got Adrian Rabiot on the board. They've got Aaron Ramsey and that on the board. So, like I did say, more than likely Juventus would have to offload 1 or 2 of their essential players, to fund the move for Paul Pogba. It does say Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent Mini Raiola. It also says a couple of weeks ago that the Juventus director Emma travelled to London, to holding further negotiations with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. And Juventus director recently did, explained, of how much, Juventus love Paul Pogba, because he did have 4 good years in Turin. He exceeded expectation levels, but he hasn't really replicated this, since he did make the return to Manchester United and all that. He has not replicated this form whatsoever. But I was reading reports yesterday, it did say Juventus were reportedly willing to offer Paul Dybala, in their bid, to sign Paul Pogba. And obviously Paul Dybala has been on our agenda, for quite some time. Paul Dybala's brother and agent, came out quite a while back, and they said, Paul Dybala could leave Juventus this summer, because obviously he enjoyed a difficult time with Juventus last season, because obviously since the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo at Juventus, Paul Dybala obviously has been in and out of the squad. Paul Dybala has been at Juventus now 4 years, and he has demonstrated in his 4-year page, that he can hold his line, that he can score goals and all that. Obviously only 25 years of age and all that, Paul Dybala. So Juventus are willing to offer him as part of the, as part of their bid, to currently sign Paul Pogba. I think they're also willing to offer as Alexandro as part of the, their bid, to sign Paul Pogba and all that, because I don't think Juventus would be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. I don't think they'd be able to afford him outright, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But with Real Madrid, obviously, like I said, they're not willing to pay up to £150 million, and I think Real Madrid are desperate, to include Gareth Bale. They're desperate to include Gareth Bale. As part of the deal, in their bid for Paul Pogba and all that. Whether Manchester United would be willing to go along with this or not, I do not know. I was reading some reports yesterday, and it did say Manchester United, were demanding Gareth Bale as part of the deal of Paul Pogba, going to Real Madrid and all that. From my own perspective, I wouldn't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United now. If you've asked me a couple of years ago, I'd have took Gareth Bale at Manchester United. But the reasons why I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United, even though he could come back to the Premier League and he could succeed and exceed expectations levels and all that, but the couple of main factors why I don't want him at Manchester United, because he's too injury prone, plus his age up, he's now nearly 30 years of age. Gareth Bale, I think he's 30 sometime this month. He's been inconsistent in his last couple of seasons with Real Madrid and all that. But obviously, Zinedine Zidane did say at the end of last season, he said that Gareth Bale has no future at Real Madrid, and he also basically said that Gareth Bale he's no longer in his plans at Real Madrid and all that. I think according to Gareth Bale's agent, he says that Gareth Bale has got no intentions of leaving Real Madrid, and I do believe Bale is aware of the speculation, but the transfer saga does continue to persist about Gareth Bale, and Bale has been relentlessly linked to a move away from Real Madrid, and he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford since 2012, 2013, and the rumours have continued to persist since that point. So Bale's been linked to Manchester United for the last 5 or 6 years at least, as we all currently know. But Bale Bale has got no intentions of leaving Real Madrid. But despite the fact that Gareth Bale is injury prone, his ratio still very, very good. He's scored 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid and provided around 64 assists. So his stats are very, very impressive. Despite the fact that he's injury prone, he's got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid, and he has been at Real Madrid 6 years. Obviously, Real Madrid did pay £85 million for Gareth Bale from Tottenham, back in 2013 and all that. So Real Madrid are reportedly desperate to include Gareth Bale as part. In their bid, to currently sign Paul Pogba and all that. But I wouldn't want Gareth Bale now at Manchester United and all that. Even though we do know he plays on the left, he can also play on the right. I think when he was younger, he played as a left back. The day Gareth Bale. So I wouldn't want to see Gareth Bale at Manchester United and all that. So Real Madrid are desperate, to include him as part of the deal. So I'm going to do my blinds. Yeah, they're desperate to include him as part of the deal and all that. But with Paul Pogba, like I said, he's still got 2 years left on his current deal at Old Trafford, with an option to extend it by a further year. And he allegedly said the other week that we'd offered him a long-term contract, worth up to around £500,000 a week and all that. But Paul Pogba, was subject to a lot of transfer speculation, last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, there was talks about him going to Juventus last year. There was also talks about him, going out to Barcelona, back in the January transfer window and all that. But Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the club, as you all know. And he did get one of his best wishes and all that. And Paul Pogba at Manchester United, he's won the Europa League, and of course he's won the League Cup. And we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, and that's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, because he was, in scintillating form and all that. We mainly saw the best of Pogba, when Ander Herrera, was currently playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact, Ander Herrera, did currently make. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club, at least in the last couple of months. But I think it did say last week that Paul Pogba, was set to ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to let him leave, and it even did say that Paul Pogba was set to make a personal plea to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to allow him to leave the football club. But I think the couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players. Maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, maybe he wants to be winning stuff and all that, and he's not experiencing this at Manchester United. So I think it's very, very essential anyway, that we do get a replacement for him. So there has been a lot of talks going on about Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid. Now, reportedly, Manchester United have identified Saul Niguez as a potential replacement for Paul Pogba. The media does say Manchester United have touched base with Saul Niguez's representatives over a possible move to Old Trafford this summer. He's going to cost, I would presume he's going to cost quite a bit of money. He's going to cost quite a bit of money, his Saul Niguez, because I think his release clause is around £135 million and all that, so he's going to cost quite a bit of money. And I think Atletico Madrid are reluctant, to offload Saul Niguez, because obviously, they're losing Antoine Griezmann, or they have lost Antoine Griezmann, and obviously, they won't want to lose Saul Niguez. I think the only way they'll offload Saul Niguez, of course, is if Manchester United are willing to trigger his £135 million release clause. I spoke to you about Saul Niguez quite some time back now. I think Manchester City were in for him at one point. Saul Niguez can play as a central mid. He can play as a central mid or defensive midfielder. He is only 24 years of age. Saul Niguez, he has spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid and all that. Saul Niguez. So there has been a lot of talks about him, currently going on. I think he was a product of their academy, and I think Saul Niguez has gone on, to make like over 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid. So do you believe he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba? 24 years of age, still got a hell of a lot of development in him, so it does say Manchester United are in for him. I think another good replacement for Paul Pogba, would be James Maddison from Leicester. Now, I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see James Maddison, come in and all that. Very, very good player. Obviously, it was his debut season in the Premier League last season. In his first season in the Premier League, he did demonstrate he can create chances, because James Maddison last season, created more chances than any other player in the Premier Premier League, and he also was involved in 14 goals last season with James Maddison. So he scored 7 goals, he provided 7 assists and all that in around 36 Premier League games. Obviously, he's only 22 years of age. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. Leicester did get him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million. So obviously, he did have a good couple of years in the Championship with Norwich. Obviously, he began his career when he was a teenager at Coventry, and I think quite a few teams have been tracking him since he was a teenager at Coventry. I think he also had a loan spell with Aberdeen, so he had a bit of experience of playing in Scotland and all that. I think he's got now 4 years left on his contract with Leicester, but he did allegedly say the other week that he wanted to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he did allegedly say that James Maddison, was interested in a move to Manchester United. He did say he had reservations about joining Manchester United, obviously, because we're not in a Champions League football for next season, but I love James Maddison a lot, and I think he would be a fantastic adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But reports were coming out about this, was it 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he did basically say, we'd merge him as a priority target. He did say if Leicester were willing to sell him, they would want around £60 million. So again, he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, Youri Tielemans now, I think, according to recent reports I read from TalkSport earlier on this week, I think Leicester now are the favourites, to currently sign Youri Tielemans and all that. I think Leicester are the favourites, to currently sign Youri Tielemans. I think they are now leading the race, because Leicester have been in talks of getting Youri Tielemans on a permanent deal and all that, because obviously Youri Tielemans has had around 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League, because initially he had been on loan with Leicester since January. Obviously Youri Tielemans has now returned to Monaco, but Youri Tielemans has confirmed he will not be staying at Monaco next season and all that. And he did come out a couple of weeks ago saying that we were in there for Youri Tielemans, we rekindled our interest. And he did basically say, we'd been in negotiations with his agent over getting a possible deal concluded and all that. But then he reportedly said, we had rejected the chance, to sign Youri Tielemans. But quite a few teams have been in there for him. Tottenham have been in there for him. Also, Manchester City have been in there for Youri Tielemans. I think at one point Arsenal had inquired about his services, but he's only 22 years of age and all that. I said proven in the Premier League. But I think it's initially in Leicester City's plans, to link up Youri Tielemans with James Maddison in their midfield, because I think Leicester believe there'll be a good partnership and they'll complement each other really, really well. So I think he's set to sign for Leicester. He's set to sign for Leicester. He's Youri Tielemans. According to recent reports I read, I'll read a bit more reports up about him very, very soon. But I think he's available for a reasonable figure anyway, because I think Monaco, rate him at around £40 million. He's under contract with Monaco till 2022. Obviously, Monaco purchased Youri Tielemans from Anderlecht, because obviously, Youri Tielemans began his career with Anderlecht, and I think Manchester United were tracking him at that point. But I did say Youri Tielemans' move to Manchester United could be dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba and all that. But I think anyway, Youri Tielemans is going to be making the move to Leicester. So looking likely anyway now, he's going to be out of the equation. Obviously, been updating you on a regular basis as well, haven't I? About Giovanni Lo Celso, from Real Betis. Now, there has been quite a lot of talks about him, currently going on. Obviously, he's been one of Tottenham's priority targets, but I think it's Manchester United and Tottenham that are battling out for his current services and all that. Reports suggested out was it over a month or so ago. Now, he did say that Tottenham had been in talks with Real Betis over getting a deal concluded for Giovanni Lo Celso, and he did say Giovanni Lo Celso's preference is actually a mover to Tottenham and all that, so he was keen on making the move to Tottenham. He did say over a month or so ago now that Tottenham had lodged a bidding for him around £53 million, but obviously this was too insufficient for Real Betis, because Real Betis are looking for somewhere in the region of around £70 million. Real Betis are looking for somewhere in the region of around £70 million for Giovanni Lo Celso, because I think Giovanni Lo Celso has got a release clause around £88 million. But he does say Manchester United are still interested in him. He is only 23 years of age. Of course, he is Argentinian. Obviously, even though Tottenham have got 2 players on the board, so far this summer, they've got Jack Clark from Leeds. Obviously, they've got Tanguy Ndombele from Lyon. I think Tottenham still want to get a deal over the line for Giovanni Lo Celso. Last season was Giovanni Lo Celso Celso's first season with Real Betis. Obviously, he spent the majority of last season on loan with Real Betis. Did Giovanni Lo Celso, but obviously they got him on loan with the option to buy, and Real Betis, did make the deal permanent, back in April and all that. Real Betis did get him from PSG, so if Real Betis do sell him, obviously, PSG, do benefit from it because PSG, do get a percentage, of course, of any sale and all that. But it does say Manchester United and Tottenham are battling now for his services. So yeah, been a lot of talks about him, currently going on. As I have been updating you on a regular basis in the last couple of days in regards to Dani Olmo from Dynamo Zagreb. Now I updated you about him yesterday and all that. There has been a lot of the media's it's been circulating around the media in the last couple of days. Saying that Manchester United are interested in him. It's also said quite a lot of other teams have expressed their interest in Dani Olmo. Reflecting on his impressive performances throughout the European Championship. And I think from Dani Olmo's perspective, he's aware of the speculation, but I think his preference is either moved to the Premier League or the Bundesliga. I think Dani Olmo's agent came out a couple of days ago and he did suggest out his agent. He indicated out that Manchester United are interested in currently signing him and all that. But yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him, going on in the last couple of days. I think he did admit, he's attracted to the Premier League, but I think reportedly Manchester United had submitted a bid for him around £35 million. I think Dani Olmo's got 2 years left on his contract with Dynamo Zagreb. I think he can play as an attacking midfielder. He can also play him as a winner, so he can play on each flank. So he's he's actually versatile as this player. And so again, we'd see Dani Olmo as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But so many teams have inquired about his services. Obviously, Dani Olmo has been at Dynamo Zagreb, since 2014. He joined them at the age of 16 and all. Now he's 21 years of age, so he has been there a number of years. And of course, he's still very, very young. He's Dani Olmo, and his stats are very, very impressive. I think he scored 26 goals in 102 games for Dynamo Zagreb in all competitions, and I think he's provided around 21 assists. But the teams that have been in there for him have been Chelsea, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan and all that. I think Barcelona have also been interested. Obviously, he's a former Barcelona player. He was a product of their academy because he did serve 7 years in Barcelona's academy. He never got into their first team, but he did serve 7 years in Barcelona's academy. But he is only 21 years of age. So again, do you think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba or Dani Olmo? Want to know in your comments below. So, who could replace Paul Pogba at Manchester United? We do know there's been talks about Ivan Rakitic going on. A lot of reports were going out about. Well, I think a lot of reports were going on about Ivan Rakitic. Was it earlier on this week or was it last week? It did say we'd rekindled our interest in Ivan Rakitic, and it came out around 2 or 3 weeks ago saying that we'd inquired about Ivan Rakitic's services and all that. And like I said, I've got reservations about Ivan Rakitic coming to Manchester United. Like I said, I do like Ivan Rakitic, don't get me wrong, I admire him. He's had a fantastic career for Barcelona and all that. He's had a fantastic career all in all, and he's got a really, really good pedigree and all that. Obviously, the majority of the silver Ivan Rakitic has won has obviously become at Barcelona. But I just think now at his day and age, I just don't think he would succeed now in the Premier League because he's aging up. He's 31 years of age. But he did say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer instructed Manchester United to actually sign Ivan Rakitic as a replacement for Paul Pogba. Ivan Rakitic is a central midfielder. He can also play as an attacking midfielder. But I think Ernesto Valverde, the Barcelona manager, did confirm they're willing to offload Ivan Rakitic as long as they do get a suitable offer, and as long as Barcelona can find an adequate replacement for Ivan Rakitic and all that. But I think from Ivan Rakitic's perspective, he's got no intentions of leaving Barcelona. I think he does remain happy at Barcelona. I think he's got around 3 years left on his contract and all that. But I wouldn't be keen on bringing Ivan Rakitic to Manchester United. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, even though we have made contact with Barcelona of the possibility of signing him, I think Barcelona did say they do want in the region of around £45 million if they're willing to offload him. It allegedly said, we'd offered him around £31 million for him. So yeah, there's been so many midfielders on our current agenda. Like I did say though, I think we do know that Valencia, of course, has left the club after he served 10 years at Manchester United. We do know, of course, that Ander Herrera has left the club on a free transfer, so we've got to get a replacement for him. Obviously, Darmian and Rojo, they're still at the club at the moment, but I think we've got to get rid of the dead wood at Manchester United. I think we need to sell Darmian and Rojo because I think we can generate around £25 or £30 million of their departures, but we need to get rid of them because let's be honest, Darmian and Rojo haven't really been given the chance at Manchester United, and both players have endured difficult times at the club. So basically, basically, we need to get rid of them. And mainly, Marcus Rojo's career at Manchester United has been mainly badly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained. And all. And with Darmian, he hasn't really been given the chance, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think De Gea now is going to be staying. Obviously, we do know now that Juan Mata, of course, he's staying. Obviously, with Sanchez, very, very sceptical of what's going on with Alexis Sanchez, because the club are finding it very, very difficult to get rid of Alexis Sanchez, based on his substantial wages he's on. I think it's going to be very difficult for us to currently get rid of Sanchez, and I think we need to get rid of him. I think we're doing everything we currently can to offload Sanchez, but I think we're going to find it very, very difficult indeed, because his wages having a really bad effect on the football club. Like I said, he's the highest paid player of the club, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League and all that. Hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he currently would have been, Alexis Sanchez. Reflecting back what he did at Arsenal, he had 4 good years with Arsenal. He played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger with Barcelona, but obviously hasn't, he did really, really well during his time with Barcelona, but he just hasn't replicated any of this form at Manchester United, and he has no future at the club. He's 30 years of age or 31 now. He's lost that yard of pace. Sanchez on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. So yeah, I'm still sceptical about Sanchez, leaving at the moment. Very, very sceptical about that, indeed. Obviously, as I've been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Romelu Lukaku and all that, obviously we do know he's been relentlessly, linked to a move to Inter Milan as Romelu Lukaku. Now, potentially, I think Inter Milan have inquired about getting Romelu Lukaku on a 2-year loan, with then the obligation to buy for a further £68 million. But I don't think Manchester United are, likely not to entertain this bid, because we're only willing to let Lukaku go on a permanent deal. So potentially, Lukaku's agent has given us an update, as I updated you on yesterday. Federico Pastorella reportedly, he said, Federico Pastorella said that Inter Milan are desperate, to sign Romelu Lukaku, because obviously Antonio Conte has identified him as his number 1 target. But Lukaku's agent did classify the move as complicated, and obviously the move is complicated, obviously based on the huge transfer fee, that we've put on Lukaku, because we want around £80 million, and obviously, the fee is the stumbling block at the moment, of Lukaku making his proposed move to Inter Milan. I think Inter Milan are trying to offload a couple of their players, to help them generate funds, to meet that £80 million valuation and all that. But reports suggested out, where was it last month, saying that allegedly Lukaku had agreed the personal terms with Inter Milan. He also said he agreed a deal with around £180,000 a week and all that. But obviously no fee has yet come to an agreement. And I think Lukaku recently described Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world, and he's keen on playing under Antonio Conte's guidance and all that, because he believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. And obviously, reflected back a couple of years ago, obviously Antonio Conte wanted Romelu Lukaku when he was manager of Chelsea, but obviously he ended up coming out to Manchester United. But we're basically looking to recoup the money that we did pay for Lukaku back in 2017 from Everton, because we did get him £75 million. Obviously, he's our second most expensive signing. There were several add-ons included in the deal, which did potentially rise it to around £90 million. And Lukaku, of course, has still got 3 years left on his contract term and all that. But like I said, it does say Lukaku's agent has obviously held negotiations with Inter Milan's officials and all that, because I think Lukaku's agent is doing everything he can, try and get his client move to into Milan and all that. But no fee, like I said, has yet come to an agreement. Obviously, we did say we're unwilling to accept swap deals that Inter Milan, of course, have offered us. They've tried offering us Mario Cardi for Romelu Lukaku. They've also tried offering us Ivan Perisic for Romelu Lukaku. But again, Manchester United have currently turned this down. So we're only willing to let Lukaku go on a permanent deal. Lukaku, of course, has served 2 years with Manchester United. He scored 42 goals in 96 games for the club in all competitions, and and Lukaku was exceptional in his first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season, because under Jose Mourinho, Lukaku was first choice, but since Jose Mourinho's departure and since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been recommended in, obviously we do know that Rashford has been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice ahead of Romelu Lukaku. So Romelu Lukaku has found himself surplus to requirements at Manchester United, and I think Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford. But even though I've got strong reservations about Lukaku, I think his ratio is still very, very good. His pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. But I think we need to get rid of him, because I think if we get rid of him, it'll help us with our rebuilding process. He will definitely help us with our transition and all that. So I think we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because I think I do believe he is too inconsistent. So there has been quite a few players on our agenda, who could replace Romelu Lukaku at the football club if he's to currently leave. Obviously, there was a lot of talks about Wissam Ben Yedder, going on. There's been quite a lot of talks about him going on in the media, quite recently, but I don't think there's a lot of credibility, in Wissam Ben Yedder, coming here to Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And I did say Wissam Ben Yedder's move to Manchester United is dependent on anywhere what happens with Romelu Lukaku, but I don't believe there's a lot of credibility in Wissam Ben Yedder coming here to Manchester United. I think Wissam Ben Yedder's, really, really good of what I've seen of him. He served 3 years with Sevilla. He did say allegedly, he would favour him move to Manchester United. His goal scoring pedigree is supposed to be very, very, very good, and I think overall he's technically a very, very good footballer. He's Wissam Ben Yedder. He's highly experienced. He's 28 years of age. He's got 2 years left on his contract with Sevilla. I think he's got a release clause around £36 million. But he did say Manchester United are probably only willing to move in for Wissam Ben Yedder, of course, if Romelu Lukaku does leave the football club this summer. But so I think Sevilla got him back in 2016 from Toulouse for around £9 million. But for Sevilla last season, I think he scored 30 goals and provided 11 assists in 54 games in all competitions last season. So obviously we've identified him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. But he did say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer identified Lyon's Moussa Dembele and Lille's Nicolas Pepe as a potential replacements for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, do you think Moussa Dembele would be a good replacement for Lukaku? Obviously, Moussa Dembele, I think we did say we was in for him a while back. I think it did say we put around the £40 million bid in for Moussa Dembele. Moussa Dembele, obviously, he did well in his debut season in France last season. I think he did really, really well. Obviously, he's got 4 years left on his contract with Lyon. Lyon did get him from Celtic last summer for around £20 million. Obviously, he's had experience of playing in Scotland, and he did have 2 good years in Scotland, with Celtic. I think at one point he did play for Fulham, so he actually began his senior career with Fulham. Did Moussa Dembele, like I said, got a lot of development in him. Only had 22 years of age, is Moussa Dembele. But yeah, there has been talks about him going on. Like I've updated you about Nicolas Pepe, haven't I, on a regular basis. But I don't think there's a lot of credibility in Nicolas Pepe coming to Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But quite a lot of teams have been in there for Nicolas Pepe. Obviously, we do know Manchester United need a winner, and I would be excited about the prospect, of linking Nicolas Pepe up. We know the likes of Rashford and Martial and all that. So yeah, like I said, still lots to address in the squad. Still a hell of a lot to address in the squad. And hopefully, like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can currently take us forward. But we do know we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years. But the main factor reason why we have been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, because we've been mismanaged. This is the main factor reason why, of course, we have been underachieving and all that. But yeah, we've had different managers with different philosophies over the years. A hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. Players have come in, and of course, players have gone. We obviously haven't won the Premier League, since 2013, and obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season, and obviously, we haven't won the Premier League, since, like I said, since 2013, but, we haven't won much silverware, since 2013, we didn't win out under David Moyes, we won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal, won the Europa League and League Cup under Jose Mourinho. That came in Jose Mourinho's first season, and all that, but like I said, regardless of who our manager is, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson, for 20 odd years of success, that we did currently have. But we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've got an ecstatic stadium. We've got a fantastic fan base. We're the most successful team in England historically. So we are still, one of the biggest clubs in the world. But I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take Manchester United forward. I think if we can get the deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes, it will be good business by Manchester United and Ed Woodward and all that. But I think it was also a very, very good business of us, getting that deal concluded for Wan-Bissaka and all that. We got him in a deal with £50 million. Obviously, he's the club's 5th most expensive signing, but I did say, he's worth £50 million, he's Wan-Bissaka and all that. But the main part of this video, was to give you an update about Harry Maguire. Also, give you an update of who could replace Paul Pogba at the football club and all that. So yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.